Yo, adesima mamu ajo esa mamu akwaba edeba ene dwumedie so dwumedia monigusu ene the sit show NET2 television so musomfo hini amu akwadodo na frame the flag bearer ene numre mede dwumedie eho chiam samu akwaba papa na emeni so se ne wapebre na odi wani ebedi dwumedie we achi de bia meka show we so na obete nokran kwa esa ne se yewo ebuo kese ede mamu yewo ebuo kese ede mamu ndi yambetena nom entwa montro senia afoforo eye no enti upe nokre show anokre trodo na yede eya na adwada ene wukwada bia enumre fi no nson mpem ekopem no nkron mpem na ode eye wafidie no ato NET2 TV so na wo so watumi etie nia eko nsem no doso nsem big nsem poro ena yeyi nsem no baako mienu miensa bi ne yede aponfo aba wo mo makwadare eye nsem no mu no mo de emu nchechemu ede abre memene o se be ya yenso yani ebeda ho se aboa wowo abato obre mu ene ye wo no se betafache nsem bebre ena nkrofo be kan just because bia ye pe se ye beto aba ma yen eno nti ehu behia se brane no ye be yi nsem no ani so ede akire mo se be ya mo so ansa na wo be kwa koto waba no na broni ekase why very informed sa ene edi wo dwumedie we eso ene inside Ghana ye ba be hwe eye nsem kakra bia atrende e wo man Ghana mu na ne eye minua be ma ayefe no owusu ado frank yetumi ahwe sa nsem no na ye de mu nchechemu kakra ye de abrewo ye firi ho a na eye ene ye guest kakaka pa ne me guest me ne bedi nkomo ene numrei mo amunsa kan flyers ne de mze social media blinke papa nyame adom ejeba ede eye me guest kakaka okukroko pa abedru eye studio ha ono so ye ne no ebetwetwe nkomo afa eye the future of this country editi jedwa na kache obi foforo say the sit show ya share asia anisa minia moajo emwakwaba
mejo so flag
Franco let send there
nyame ado mjiri so ho ye
otwedi ampo nyankopon adaroma ye ho ye papa
ya da nyame ase
enye kwa eja yeti nkwamu de ye de asida ene be mu otwedi ampo nyankopon.
It is an honor and a privilege to be on this particular show.
Yeah, it
is an honor say we enter into the various homes and offices of people. Now, Payimuna na opesa only interview no.
Well, answer na penimuna menenu ebe interview no. I think say ye bomon kaye say nyame ye adomo information no we mame enkom emmamo this information ana wo de ebe ko yenim ya mame information say mi wi na mabo munkaye nti enko yenim Franco na ukasa
na me say Payimuna na obey interview no. I remember in 12 years ago, they held an IEA debate with Tamale. He was an outstanding personality. On that day, Obiang who said this man gave us luxurious performance, 5-star performance. Say debate part and Kejina so the two abadia. And on that fateful day, Papa and Karababe an interview. Ebiang going to be the president. The Ghana and your debate and on where so tiaba. Yes. Now it is about party. But this time we need leadership.
Yes.
Obia
obema solution to our problems.
Yes. Not people who re-echo our problems to us. We need people who are problem solvers.
Yes.
The reason why we vote for this kind of people, and they say they have to make sure they think about the welfare of their people. Cars on you know, your friend is sports utility vehicle.
Sports SUV.
A bomb no one want it. Now in the amount. You see your primary responsibility, and it's all the not getting more mind Ghana. But me no can say Ghanaians are also thinking for these kind of leaders.
Okay.
These people, they are not giving us the solution. Always they are trying to re-echo our problems to us. And me, flag bearer, there be a opportunity to sit on TV or on radio. I'm a journalist. Me from a political affiliation for me MPP. But anytime I get the opportunity, I try to come out to be one person who happens to come out with objectivity, integrity, and credibility. Me party affiliation need the two chain. Then I tell the ordinary Ghanaian the reality. And no matter air cost for Ghana. Say be a Ghana in the say idea what the 2 year bet my body 2 year end me. Say na dey. Yet na see the mejitum say You be run some baby the flag bearer.
Pa. Yo, and then me say social media started a boil pa. It is untumi what traditional media na wako YouTube and Facebook na also obetumi the comments aba na also watch wadwene na yetumi akenkan ebi de amount. Franco,
yes sir.
Wo de asante mantem de me gidi say unim honsem pa. Enche bia na MPP amanyoku no ekoyi Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe adodo na fe no Nana Poku say Dr. Bawumia ne running mate for the 2024 general elections. Na wo hobi pese wo twa infoni kakra ede man na yahwefo a wo mantumi amfo mani andi achi no mo so mahu ne ekoye.
Flagbera.
Yeah.
And baby amiti. I want people to take out emotions and sentiments and passion out. Let's reason and think as Ghanaians.
Yeah.
I'm saying I take inspiration from, and I see the person to be my mentor is Kencity Agyapong. Was say Ghana first. Yenka Ghana once, yenka nukwe Ghana and semu fanchire Ghana for. I had the opportunity. I'm to pay more. Now before I say MPP for be unveiling. That time the flag bearer of the new patriotic party by Ashanti region, whereby he began his store.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay.
He came with a new patriotic faithfuls and paying for hierarchy of system. And a drew baby MPP for Kopiemo Swami magazine. They went to individuals, they spoke to them. Let me tell you one thing.
Ansana unveiling no.
Ansana unveiling neighbors.
Okay.
The NPP, who say the land is not fertile. They have to go back and draw the taxes again and come.
Who say land is fertile.
Flagbera, in the history of this Fourth Republic, the strong base of the new patriotic party is Ashanti region. Now, Ashanti region has been good to the new patriotic party. Anytime we go to polls or elections, so Ashanti region votes Unyamaya. Go and check how the voting party goes. All the time it is going in favor of the NDC. But anytime the Ashanti region comes into the picture or cancel man MPP surplus. Now, for the first time in the history of this Fourth Republic, say a flag bearer of the new patriotic party comes to Ashanti region. Now, man for who the flag bearer? Who the flag bearer? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia be PM KJT Dubai, and you could see people registering their displeasure to the new patriotic party. Among food, there's bitterness and peevedness within them, and they want to showcase it to the president. They want to showcase the new patriotic party for say this kind of elections. It is going to determine whether they can break the 8 or they cannot break the 8. Now, flag bearer, now Perez said that they did. They knew that the land is not fertile for the new patriotic party in Ashanti region. Now, in 2008, whereby Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you born against the running mate for the new patriotic party. Yang for now, unveiling. The name was secondary takrade. That time the NPP, they were outdooring their manifesto. That time they took the opportunity to outdoor their running mate. Now the NPP has seen. So if you go to Ashanti region, there is a problem. There is an apathy over there, and they have to solve the problem. And you know, unveiling no. Ashanti region.
But if there's a problem and apathy now person who solve as a political party,
I get it.
Okay, good.
Now, if you look at issues at Air Koswa, let me tell you one thing. If you go to Ashanti region now, a lot of people are not happy with the conduct of the new patriotic party in Ashanti region. MPP form Ashanti region, and I'm bound for Ashanti region. Our perception be whether concorded or reality. Okay. Dream said there be and go for say do say the boy crab the turn up on the MPP flag crack at now Ghanaians are becoming discerning. Flag bearer. I listened to the unveiling and I watched the running mate of the new patriotic party, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe. Was saying the NPP is targeting 85% in Ashanti region.
Okay.
Means there is a lot of inconsistencies in the hierarchy of system of the new party.
Yes.
Was saying the NPP, they are targeting 75% in Ashanti region. The chief of staff also for Ashanti region said they are targeting 80%. So even in terms of percentage, there is an inconsistency. In terms of politics, there's one common language. One common language, they say, we are targeting 100 million. We are targeting this. It becomes a common language.
Okay.
And to be a cause, I say now, now, if you listen to the running mate, to the flag bearer, say they are targeting 85% in Ashanti region. And flag bearer, I can't say back control. Baby, I'm I want to be honest, I want to be open, I want to be truthful. 85% in Ashanti region is unrealistic. And I'm going to explain to you.
Okay.
Permit me to take you back in 1992. Let's look at the voting pattern, the results ever.
Okay.
If they can get to the 85% or not. Now, if you look at 1992, no more 33 constituencies. Albert Adubuahi, who comes from the Ashanti region, was the leader of the New Patriotic Party. Omukoto Abana in 1992. Albert Adubuahi enya 431,380.
In Ashanti region.
Yes, in Ashanti region. JJ Wallace here 234,237. In Ashanti region. If you look at Oranidini Albert Adubuahi, it is 60.54%. JJ Wallace is 32.87%. In 1996, the New Patriotic Party, they goes into internal elections. They go MP Korean J.A. Kufuor. J.A. Kufuor is hailing from the Ashanti region. Now, if you look at 1996, out of 33 constituencies, John Agyapong Kufuor, 827,804, representing 65.80. Now, it means that if you look at J.A. Kufuor, the votes appreciated by 5%.
Okay.
Now, in 2000 elections, John Agyapong Kufuor, 950,597. Now take this. If you look at 2000, the New Patriotic Party any signature project. Or make the campaign. Because they be
former President Kufuor.
Yes.
Before former President Kufuor Beba.
Yes, before he becoming the president. At that time when he was a leader of the opposition party, at that time the NPP has not been in power. And one main choice that this is a signature project. And the NPP was very smart. Almost she was setting them not to waba. What kind of answer?
Yeah.
And so now, if you look at Ore Feni J. Kufuor, on your 74.8% in Ashanti region, and it's in your 22.51%.
Yeah.
In 2004, J.A. Kufuor becomes the president for 4 years. Obia who the infrastructure and the development by J.A. Kufuor in the Ashanti region.
Yeah.
Ope President Bakwa, whether ambiguous or not, even within the NDC, almost say in this Fourth Republic. Open President Bakwa why outstanding, why extraordinary, and the performance a concan out what in your glitter a referee J. Kufuor.
Even the
NDC, go and do your checks. A lot of people come when MPP for.
But these same NDC people were those who bastardized Kufuor. So what else you say after Oman Penin Nanado? Also name time Besono. Say Omu call another competition. They will not say akufo-addo did very well. As they are bastardizing the free SHS.
Let me tell you one thing.
Yeah, tell me.
Now, if you look at the NPP and the NDC, anytime one is in power, it takes individuals or more credibility and integrity that comes out. He says, I deal with the flag bearer in here.
Yes.
One person that can put my last coin on is Kencity Media Agyapong. He is the only person who can say, me MPP me MPP name my NDC 4 years me no mo yadwen. When me say me MPP ni, I dear MPP 4 years me no mo yadwen. And Obashan is why this has been the system even from the UP tradition. The NPP and UP no, and it's the CPP. They were not in good terms. And the CPP be a UP forfeit. The UP force be a CPP forfeit. Now, if you look at J.A. Kufuor in 2004, now 1,404,336, representing 79.97. In 2008, J.A. Kufuor now Nanado 1,219,530, 72.53.
Okay.
Now, if you look at 2012, akufo-addo 70.86.
Okay.
2016, 76.27. And let me tell you one thing. In 2016 elections, flag bearer out here, say catch yourself for a background pobra, near fun could come so now akufo-addo be president.
I didn't.
Because in 2016, the scandals are hitting on the money, mama. Metro Mass branding, Jida Sada, okay. Yes, sir, confirm to Burkina Faso. Just your common passport, and confirm the Metro Mass branding. Okay, can as well, 60,000 Ford expedition. A whole lot of stuff.
No, so also they created impression. These are issues that were real. The Kanazo Edianusi said it was true. The $600,000.
$60,000. Go and listen to John Dramani Mama. And sometimes I have issues with how sometimes journalism we try to communicate. Now, what's your friend John Dramani Mama? John Dramani Mama so one can Ford expedition be through.
Okay.
Second, was a Ford expedition to
yeah. It's true. I
what I say. Yeah. So if you look at scandals, they hated John Mama. In 2016, now NDC abandoned Afro Ghana for, and they decided they say they have to go out. Now NPP
and so it had nothing to do with poor economic performance in 2016.
In 2016?
Yes.
The NPP used economy to campaign against the NDC.
No, why would they use economy to campaign? Because that was the reality on the ground at that time.
Yes, because at that time, who say the president and now or president and now akufo-addo was saying, sit now you hata. Now you have the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was saying, if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Yeah.
If you look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Obisa Pakosi Emisata 170 questions in relation to the economy.
Yeah.
Agyapong Kone say, Kwasi Bochi, who was a long-serving finance minister, yes, or Babonti Bekas, and some Mahmoud Bawumia Ebisano. Because Pakosi Emisata is the head of the Economic Management Committee.
Okay.
And then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he is the president of the Republic of the Land.
He is the vice president.
Oh, the vice president. Now, if you look at 2020 elections, Overall, the other than that, akufo-addo 71.64. Now in 2016, we are 76.
Yes.
In 2020, we are 71.
Okay.
That means why you are there? We be catch us a monumental. I do bet Marcus. I feel it. I touch it. And I'm not here. If you have the regional minister of Ashanti region, unveiling to make sure that their campaign team members on Mecca, and Obama want to be catcher. You say. If you look at the NDC, they always dictate the pace for the new patriotic party to follow. And to catch the MPP for say, now the akufo-addo yeah, the change will be
okay.
That is the regional minister. And now Oyerepa TV, no Oyerepa FM. They wanted to give the regional minister a mileage and say, "Sir, regional minister, come and tell us the kind of projects I am in Ashanti region." They even limited it to only 5.
Okay.
So the regional minister about the only 5. The regional minister, who is the head of the region, you can label him to be the president of Ashanti region. Every data passes through his head. Any signature project be a Ashanti region piano
okay.
Now the regional minister missed to say a flag bearer.
Yeah.
And a flag bearer regional minister say, my 5 signature projects started by akufo-addo, ended by akufo-addo. One was say zipline. Zipline is a national project and not peculiar to Ashanti region. And was say until Rebecca MBU no besi ye e o konfa no che no Rebecca ho until Rebecca MBU no besi ye no e ye na su la adwuma no be ye and I'm going to explain to you obegigi iska e ka se oboa ama ho no MBU no ye ama na ya kono. This is a non-governmental project and your MPP aban ye but ade ba ko are ho ne say you have a minister and will be saying say all 5 signature projects in Ashanti region and the regional minister cannot mention 5 signature projects, then it tells you there is a problem.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And the person who sits and eat and dine with the president, the political son of the president, or where your friend watch us and so. Or copy him I was star. And a bulari ebisan is a mirror. Or start here and say, if you look at Kumasi Airport is a going concern project, and I'm going to explain to you. In accounting, say a going concern. When you lead the NASA Uba, you inherit assets and liabilities.
Okay.
And if you look at Kumasi Airport, it was started by the NDC, NPP for BB. There's no problem to it. And the service is okay, what can we? Saika Makuma Kunaya Kahu Fatre. And so I said, so watch a catch and say, or Bano catch then say, or Baby Bisan in a private life. One can't change what Baby Bisan projects in Ashanti region. And then look, I say, there is a serious apathy in Ashanti region because the NPP cannot boast of about 5 projects in Ashanti region. Oh,
really?
Maybe none other. Ken Oforiatta, who was the finance minister, was saying they are going to build 5 interchanges in Ashanti region. Or can in the 2021 budget, or say it is being captured in the 2022 budget. And you tell you, I was saying, Baby at the quite runabout. Baby to say, Ahojo, Awanaga Junction, Santase, Miyafi Baby Bako, or say 5 areas, metropolis, they are going to make sure so Ombabisi interchanges for Kumasi metropolis and Naswami. Swami then I say it costs 140 million euros. And now that no can say after you start here. The phone akano, minyan some the second year so crab form some become one. You kuma in MP for catcher say Nanko point about March 2024. When it comes to Buankra Inland Porter on me. On my timeline. Almost say they are going to finish it in March 2024. And now that no can say maybe hold on if I buy Buankra Inland Port was a dear eternity. Kencity phase 2, the new patriotic party, Ghana say they are going to build the phase 2 for Kumasi people. The phase 1, let me be objective, let me be sincere, let me be truthful. Do you see here, John Dramani Mama? In Ashanti region, Kencity Dubai.
Okay.
John Dramani Mama is here. But if you look at the phase 2, MPP for some BBC, and now I'm looking say, the former they are registering their displeasure to the New Patriotic Party. They are saying some more catch money now, and that's how Boston will do so. Okay, my member a few who say they don't have any signature. Yes. Okay, so what do you mean by signature project? Signature project. When somebody constructs a road, is that a signature project? It's a signature project. When somebody does water and sanitation projects, yes, is it signature? Yes. Okay. So the MPP under Nana Akufo-Addo, yes, has a total of 2,347 completed. Thank you. And 1,307 ongoing. Okay. Okay. When you come to water and sanitation infrastructure, okay, 814 total projects. Okay. That is under water and sanitation infrastructure, which you agree say is a signature project. Okay. 378 of them have been completed. Okay. Remaining 436. When you come to education, education infrastructure, 670 total projects. Yes. And on my chassis here, Asante Montem. Yes. Menoka say almost say 299. 371. And also cost, and the list continues. So somebody me be a bit surprised. They don't have any. Yes, sir. That is why I made a statement. Said the regional minister, all this data passes through his end. Yes. If the regional minister goes on live TV, whereby the regional minister is being asked to only mention, the working kind of also. Yes. The regional minister should only mention 5 signature projects. 5 signature projects started by Nana Akufo-Addo, ended by the New Patriotic Party. Yes. And the regional minister cannot mention 5. How can I pick it say as someone more can because every data passes through his end. Okay. If a cabinet minister who sits and eats and die with the president, a cabinet minister who was a deputy chief of staff, who is a political son to the president, can go live on TV, on radio. Near besides mention 5 signature projects. Now someone me mention 5 signature projects. I don't know to Jano. May I take it to be much I do about nothing. Nature makers and say, or more data ne pass it through their end. They are privy to everything. They cannot mention 5. Okay, now what? MPP force or more the track can no maybe aba. Oko pem I was anti chimwa. There's so much effect to do. Now me could be anyhow. To the member can flag bearer. If you look at the New Patriotic Party, okay, it is time say so much me money better. Okay. Kencity Media called Agyapong made a statement, and the fact that the NPP should be very careful. Say he made a statement where in Kumasi. Okay, during the unveiling. And not even unveiling. Okay. When he was even doing his campaign to be the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party. But say Ashanti region, the NPP has neglected Ashanti region. I didn't say it. Kencity Media called Agyapong was saying, if you're able to consolidate your base, and if you're able to make sure that you grip your base, when it gets to elections, you don't fear. That is true, oh? And I'm making that is the reality, and you're concorded. And I make sure that the New Patriotic, my name is Kencity Media, say about 4 people who are national executives, who are duly elected, are coming from Ashanti region. 4 people who are duly elected are coming from Ashanti region. You have the national chairman, the chief in Suta, any event is one fee. Now, Stephen Tim. Yes, who want to be? Who want the treasure? Because they feel and think, say, the kind of projects they see at the moment, they are not giving it to them. Is it not the same? So you think, say, this may have pushed former President Mahama to say Asante Montem crowd they will not even appreciate, because from what you are saying, yes, and from the list that we have here, yes, there are a lot of infrastructure projects that have gone on. Yet you say the feeling is that the people in Ashanti region are complaining. Yes. Production. Yes. Very soon, yes, you have to make arrangement for them to come and give pictorial evidence. Thank of because listen, me say nipa ba every data passes through his end. Okay. Is the regional minister. Okay. The regional minister is the president of Ashanti region. Okay. He goes live on TV. They ask me a very simple question. Mention 5 signature projects in Ashanti region. The regional minister cannot mention it. You are right, but if the regional minister cannot mention, it doesn't mean that there is absent or there is absent of some project. Honorable Kennedy. Before so we call and the young person, the honorable video be too dry. Just to okay, go on. If the regional young person, the general manager at Kencity Media is being called into an interview, Nia Bisani said, "Give us the true state of Kencity Media." Now the general manager cannot give us the true state. Now the general manager made the true state of Kencity Media. The regional minister is the representative of the president. You have a cabinet minister who meets media. You have a simple question. Cabinet minister, he eats and eats and dines with the president. Any signature project passes through their end. All 5 signature projects in the Ashanti region, he couldn't mention it.
Okay.
And when you say the Kano, unless they come,
they have to, yes.
They bring pictorial evidence.
Especially when we are in election year, you will not be allowed to say things and just go.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay. Franco, mami nko tie your honorable Ken Nisembia or the tuja yanko nko tie ni okan enemra.
Yamon party and by François multi party na limu amma grassroots no akufo-addo no mufri hama mufri grassroots Namonta ani kile mawo ya tasasa sikato sho biansa namo okuro dake akura fufa ani pardon and it's a more positioner I say Bible say I will say open say uye okay before another uye leader you must first be a servant of the people. You brother banking of man and our party anyone. And don't just say you love yourself over the people. Answer and learn. I can be someone liberty also Apa Mommy and Tanya at the Siaki. Now you come house to house. Or be a young friend, young Jimmy and come. Now with unity, we'll break the egg. There is no more.
See, akakabe semo ebimu ye ne nedie omo hu se meme ne o sebe ye hu ehia but well would mambra ho.
Yes.
Say uba Asante Mantemo after said Dr. Napo and I said Matthew Poku Prempe ye no as the running mate to Dr. Baumiano. Do you have the feelings and Nkrofo are no more expected to be for Ashanti region?
Flagbearer.
Yeah.
Now, if you come to Ashanti region, especially in relation to the running meat, yetedin bebre. Obete aduchum din wum, obete
education minister.
Minister bonsu din wum, obete Jowais din wum, and there was a lot of names. Fremont parading by a whole lot of names in a buy.
Okay.
Now, since 1992, this is the first time the new Patriotic Party is going for a parliamentarian to be their running mate. Since 1992, BC the first running mate was Roland Isifu.
Yeah.
A buyer babesi already di akaso.
Yeah.
Then it comes already di Ali Muhammad. Then it followed kakra. Now let me tell you one thing. As I sit here, I'm a journalist. Then I'm going to tell you one me. A dinner bar bonteno. Then you have to ask yourself a series of questions. Napo. How strong is he in the Ashanti region? How strong is he? Another note here, Flagbearer.
Yeah.
How can I determine and say, Ebia Flagbearer in your constituency, Ebia, we are powerful. And I say, Ebia, catch us, we are charismatic. And I say, Ebia, we are leader. It depends on the kind of nominal votes that you get when it gets to election. Yeah. That be a say anytime, how you go to elections, as I election, no. Nipa no the Flagbearer. And a lot of votes, any parliamentary candidate, there is a problem. Do you know why? Because the flag bearer is seen from a distance. Flag bearer, but if you look at more parliamentarians now, we feel them. Their actions and inactions will affect them. Now, I want to ask a very simple question. Flag bearer, if you look at Obi Eti said Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe Napo, I want to look at the strength of Napo, especially in the Ashanti region. Okay. Now, in 2008, Napo enya 65,978, representing 77.17. Nana Akufo-Addo, who is known from a distance and seen from a distance as a flag bearer, enya 66,166, representing 79.91. It tells you, say, Nana Akufo-Addo, who doesn't come from the Ashanti region, who doesn't come from Manchia South, was popular than Napo in the Ashanti region. Per the number of votes. Okay. Now, if you look at 2012, Nana Akufo-Addo, 35,417, represented 80.82. Naponia 35,152. Still, Now the Danko Akufo-Addo from a distance, SIBT Napo. Now when it comes to 2016 elections, now the Danko Akufo-Addo 36,130. Naponia 35,958. Now surprisingly, we go into the 2020 elections. Let's not forget, before Seko 2020 elections, you said the most outstanding minister, or J 3 times the best minister on the road to us, Dr. Matopoku Prempo. That time, not for the free senior high school number, and a son man. But in the constituency, so the man wasn't popular. Because if you look at 2016, on your 35,958. In 2020 elections, now on your 27,955 means that there's been a depreciation on the nominal votes of Napo. And in the how strong is the person? Secondly, if you want to bring out a running mate, sometimes you look at the attitude of the person. Now, wonder, I copy woman say, meaning what the Cora can ya. Okay,
so can be
Cora say, men are metete. Na minim say, would you only arrogant, but the amount for cattle so no, and to be submissive. Said about Assemblyamba. Before Sebabona Podino, the first national youth organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Andy Apia Kubi, who could pay more my friend say, Asante Achem, no, was saying they don't need an arrogant running mate. Yana can you?
Okay.
Was they don't need an arrogant running mate.
Okay, so what was he saying?
Yes.
Per the way you talk,
yes,
somebody can brand you as being arrogant.
It depends.
So no, hold on. You see, when we say arrogance in this part of the world, our world,
yes.
Do you know some people have branded Honorable Kennedy Agyapong as arrogant? A lot of people have said that.
I've never heard it.
Because of the way he speaks.
I've never heard it.
Well, I'm telling you,
yes,
that because of the way he speaks, the way Okasa,
and
the way in the minds of certain people, that is arrogance.
Okay.
So it does not necessarily mean say obi echusu say obi who say we are arrogant.
Yes.
Nature say indeed you are arrogant.
Tie Krora or you be a what asem. Was it asem kura e tokeje tene ye pia wote. Was say this is a reporter speech to him as Krora. Say yes na po e arrogant. And to otune for say you should be submissive. Me na pom ni nya adwuma da. Ni pon na ye adwuma wo parliament. I find Andy Apia could be say Napo is an arrogant person. I didn't say it. And also watch it.
One Andy
Apia Kubi.
But Apia Kubi is one person in the NPP.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You have one of the outstanding and leading members of the New Patriotic Party. Already Eddie Chairman Sabus was saying they don't need a block-headed and an arrogant personality to pattern Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Who was he referring to?
No, Modi. No, Omodi akuta ni mnura. Asem set mi twa asem bitimi di adanse. Asem sia, ud mi twa asem bitimi di adanse. Na nwada, unveiling a course yi. Besine, people are not talking about what happened over there. Na fene flamboyant kono, but people are talking about a different matter.
I've heard a lot of people talking about the spectacular event.
Spectacular.
There. Yes.
Now,
say enye bi won ma me nia obi pe no enye no obi pe.
Fabera.
Yes sir.
Now if you look at trending issues, a see free last week dey ban there. Let me be open.
Ever since the outdooring was.
Outdooring. Agyapong amanfo gina so and people are releasing press statement. Come wasem as in relation to the comment by the running mate to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
That statement that he made, from my point of view, it was unnecessary.
Okay, so he has apologized.
What's it?
So he has apologized.
Another no kasai. So now we are there nasa who apologize. You render unqualified apology. There's no person who is trying to make sure or apologize. The person renders a qualified apology.
Okay.
What means what mark kind statement ni critical?
Yeah, I've read it.
First of all, and then another po air kasano. Didn't mention J. Kufuor's name in it.
Well, I'm not too sure of it.
The reality is he didn't mention J. Kufuor's name because through one and a ball pause. But if you look at the release of the Bible, he mentioned J. Kufuor's name in it.
That
was say he didn't mean to make sure say Bia or book J. Kufuor and Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I'm going to take you back.
Okay.
Go and check 2019-2020.
Okay.
The kind of comments Nepo made about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay, because of the time. Honorable video be a boy or can assembly 1 minute to be to me a comment. Or say if you want to be a servant, you must first serve. A leader, you must first serve. You heard it.
Agyapong na amount for the NDC when they were in power was arrogancy and egoism. You see, NDC for your jail, a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Debbie, said this is the only person who can look straight into the eyes of the New Patriotic Party and he tells them the reality. Or cannot credit wrong. Where another no because of flag bearer. The person comes down to your level.
Exactly.
Or no sin woman. Now will be seen will be if the person captures power, if the person captures power, oh any panel. Where Kennedy Agyapong is the only person. Mekai come and watch a Delta Force and Invisible Forces for. He came out to defend them. He says that these people they belong to us. When we were in opposition, this was our security forces. Freddie Blair that time, who was the national chairman, was so many credit fought for them. And mom year school fee in this money now. Credit fought for them. Let me tell you one thing. Kennedy Agyapong is the best person for the grassroots. Or the common language of the grassroots for us. Memesre. After 5 months to elections, the NPP can salvage their issues. Or more egoism, or more arrogance, or munipa, or doing any way. I do my back one year, now our is politician. Go and check them. Anytime they're in power, it is different. If they go to opposition, sometimes they're not even relevant in the matters that are even trending. And to Monka Sancho, where you foot one of Papanadia Mono. So who are foot 20 to the bomb of Brat. So I bear Ghana, ye bit me a coin. But
that's a question. None can be our last now. Was over a moment. Although for a year, Minia Unauthorized Frank, or a journalist, Papa, and I know the inside Ghana, no Yamia Duma, that's a ne, your best sign. I invite no Abba. But I should say in Sabe company for no more better Ashanti region project, no, and they do have videos, any pictures, a Bekasa, and yes, ye kasa keke enuti mo be share ne nso de amame we be amadu mame endane me ho be sima enye aboafo nkrato me ba na me guest second guest asan aba me guess aji edwana emze meniaji papa oye penin kese pa owo oman Ghana mu a yeboni dia obia enim no se wonnim ne dia na bia afei na waba oman Ghana mu se wonnim na ene ye de ne be kirew mo amunsa ka flyer no e social media no migidi se mududo na munim eye papa yi na there is no other person than Dr. Sakara Foster. A year 2012 presidential election no the CPP presidential candidate. Mjidi say mumu do na mutie aye debate no mumu do na e bon sem e ma no say o flow e pa. Na ene ye be poto isa say nibre aba. Enti mo a poto kasa no ye den kakra no mesere say mo de be che na yetimi akoye ni. Doc, you are welcome to the Seed Show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are happy to have you.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
By God's grace.
And business?
Well, we're okay. Managing.
You are managing. Now everybody is a manager.
Everybody is managing, surviving.
You used to come to this place, but it stopped. What happened?
Oh, I think.
Am I right? You used to come here?
No, in the early stages.
Yes.
I think that was between 2008 and 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to come here, and of course, after I left the CPP, I started the National Interest Movement.
National Interest Movement.
And basically we were looking at how to identify the impediments to the country's progress, devoid of politics. So it is that highlighted some of the key constraints that we are facing. Some requiring attitudinal changes, some requiring constitutional changes, and nonetheless, they all require us to approach the problem at a more fundamental level. Okay. And this is what led us to seeking, having identified those items, how can we get a broad mass of people together so that we can champion this? Okay. And we were very fortunate to have a number of organizations who joined us first in the Ghana First Coalition and then later on in an alliance with the Movement for Change. Okay.
Who come there? Are you a politician?
I'm at heart a technocrat because I spent most of my life as a technocrat. Okay. Of course, everybody is a politician because who is a politician? Okay. He's the person who makes decisions about the resource allocation of the country. Okay. And you cannot be in a boat with crocodiles in the water and say you don't care how the boat is paddled.
Exactly. Okay. So you were a member of the Convention People's Party, am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you mentioned National Interest Movement, the very objectives of National Interest Movement. You don't think you could have been in the CPP to champion these attitudinal, constitutional, and all those changes? Why would you want to form another entity to pursue these objectives?
Well, one of the reasons is because we came to see that partisan politics has subsumed the national interest. So if you are within and your interests are primarily the partisan pursuits, how will you then pursue the national interest? So we decided that no, we needed a different model, a different vehicle, where the primary interest will be what is in the interest of the nation, Ghana first. And then we can tackle the problems head on. Okay. Yes. So that gave us the leverage to be able also to work beyond party lines, beyond traditional party lines, to be able to embrace other people, other Ghanaians who believe that, yes, indeed, the time has come for us to move along the national interest with Ghana first as our primary consideration. Okay, so Ghana first. Honorable Kennedy Agyapong is seen as somebody who is a proponent for that particular term, Ghana First. I think it played a central role in the recent past MPP presidential elections. How the country is going now? Before that, are you an Alpha Frontal? No, I am a National Interest Movement member.
The NRM.
Yes, and we have joined together. There are 10 of us who have come together.
10 of you?
Yeah, with the with the Movement for Change to form the alliance. Okay. So you can see here, actually, I'll just mention them so that people don't think I've ignored anybody. Okay. We have Bishop Samuel Mensah from the Ghana First Coalition. Okay. And then we have...
So this composition is what?
This is the composition of the alliance.
The alliance, that
Yes,
is the national interest movement.
No,
and
the alliance that includes Movement for Change and all these organizations.
Okay, good.
Okay?
All right.
So we have Bishop Samuel Neumensa, Ghana First Coalition, Mr. Samuel Ampofo, the Ghana National Party, Mr. Henry Asante, the National Second Vice Chairman, PNC, Mrs. Augustina Kujo, Third Force Movement, Dr. Zaya Yebo, who is the convener of the People's Democratic Movement, Reverend Stephen Ayenso, the Ghana Green Party, and then Professor Raymond Atugba, who is also a member of the National Interest Movement, and Mr. Kwesi Adai, or DK, who is the union government. And of course, you have myself, and then from NIM, and then Mr. Alan Chimanting from Movement for Change. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are those who form the Movement for Change.
These are the ones who form the Alliance for Revolutionary Change.
For Revolutionary Change.
Yes.
Alliance, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, Alliance for Revolutionary Change.
Okay.
The Movement for Change is Honorable
Alan Chimanting's baby. Okay.
Yes.
So Movement for Change is part of the Alliance for Revolutionary.
Indeed. It is the convener. He is the convener, and we are the co-conveners of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Yes.
Doc, let me ask you. You mentioned that one of the reasons that made you form the national interest movement is because of how partisan we do our things. We're speaking now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency. If he appoints you in a particular position, would you accept it?
No, I think first of all, one, I am not so hungry for appointment that I will come 4 months to the close of the show. What am I going to achieve in that period? But that is not the issue. The issue is that any government that offers any Ghanaian a position to serve and is prepared for the person to serve to the maximum of their capacity and be effective, the Ghanaians should serve, because we are serving the government of Ghana. It is not the government of the MPP. This is the often misunderstood thing. In the UK, people move across, they serve, from different parties. In America, too, different people from different parties can serve in the same government. Are you with me? And they don't even make any bones about it. But here, it's like you have abandoned your tribe. You're a traitor. Are you with me? And that is because the partisanship, to some extent, and this is an important point to emphasize. Don't forget that we are a new nation. 67 years.
Ghana is a new nation.
67 years in the life of, because nations last hundreds of years.
Exactly.
Years. Now, at 67 years, you're comparing yourself to somebody who's been around for 500 years. You're a baby. We're still wearing nappies. Are you with me? So some of the attitudes that we have adopted are those of, a young nation, people in a young nation who have not yet grasped, fully the importance of nationhood and how it affects the way they conduct themselves in the nation. We are also coming from societies which pre-independent, no matter who you are, Professor so, if you go to a Hinfie, you go and sit quietly in your corner.
Exactly.
You invented a medieval presence, so you take your place, because that we do is our own fault. Part of it is because we do not recognize the fact of where we are to change the structure and architecture of the country in order for us to move faster. And this is one of the things we identified in the national interest movement. And because we have got affinity to our clans and our fiefdoms, we are trying to transfer that affinity to our political parties, as if they are also tribes.
That's one.
So we have to abandon that. And Ghana has not undergone an industrial revolution. The Europeans used to be like that. The Scots, the Welsh, etc. They all used to be tribalistic like that, hanging onto their various areas. Then the industrial revolution came. And what does the industrial revolution do for a nation? Time communities, those bonds between people are broken, and then new bonds are formed, and you then develop a cosmopolitan society, and there are new rules where you work in the framework of a nation. So again, that industrial revolution has not will happen.
It has to happen.
It has to happen. As for change, you will never stop change. The question is whether you are going to ride on the change or it is going to drag you along. If you prepare yourself mentally, figure out how the change is going to come, and position yourself, when the change is coming, you ride on it.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Okay.
And you get to your destination faster and you can control it.
Okay.
But if you're not ready, it will pull you along anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Doc, this is, I have here the Great Transformational Plan. Are you privy to this? Were you part
yes.
of coming out with this?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it means that I can ask you questions
anything
in this.
about
But before we come here,
yes.
The NPP, the NDC, they all have manifestos. And they sell the manifestos to us before we vote them into office. I don't know if you can call this a manifesto anyway.
No.
If
this
it
is a policy framework.
This is a policy framework.
Yeah.
Okay.
That organizes. Okay, carry on.
Okay. What I want to find out from you is that do you foresee the alliance making any meaningful impact, given the fact that a political party that has existed for so many years, like your own, am I right to say former CPP, because you are no longer a member of the CPP, has struggled to even be considered as the third force in Ghana? Do you think that your alliance may make any meaningful impact as far as 2024 elections are concerned?
Yes.
Okay. How?
Definitely. You see, I was explaining to you that we are a country in the process of development. You also have to look at the global trends. Now,
what's happening elsewhere?
You see everywhere that established duopolies are collapsing, and independent candidates are emerging. New parties formed are emerging. And if those people who are students of politics, you know, according to Division's law, that in a multi-party democracy, it gravitates towards duopoly.
Exactly.
And that duopoly becomes stagnant after a period.
Okay.
And no longer responds to the people.
Okay.
And at that point, new entities emerge and a new political landscape is formed. Have we not seen that in our duopoly? It has stopped responding to the people. Have we not been calling for certain things which have not been delivered? So already you see the signs there. And when you look also globally, everywhere you see it in the UK elections, you see it in the, you know, the French election.
Yeah.
What people are beginning to understand is that farming out my support wholesale to a big party may never get me anywhere. It is better for me to farm it out to a group, are you with me, that believe the same things I believe in and will work for it and will not compromise them, and bring it into the center so that we can also get those things fulfilled in the national agenda. So they've lost confidence in that big party movement. And therefore, you are seeing that options are developing. And that is all that we have been working for until now, that we needed an alternative to the NDC MPP. Not because we don't like them at all, but because we believe that that entity that offers that alternative will be able to achieve more than what they are achieving, because it will offer a new opportunity to look at the situation differently and to also adapt to the challenges differently. So that is basically what it is a political evolution. So our whole objective in going from CPP even to NAME to GFC to ARC now is that we have to find that alternative for this generation. Because this successor generation, as we are now, 67 years after independence, if you ask yourself the question honestly, the vision that we had at independence, the drive that was in the First Republic, laying the foundation to achieve what we are supposed to have done by now, have we, the successor generation, played our part? Considering that we had the advantage of better education, We had the advantage of greater numbers. We had the advantage of exposure all over the world. We had the advantage of a greater proportion of youth. Have we, as a successor generation, can we honestly say, when heaven's door open and we meet Papa Nkrumah and all his colleagues, and they ask us, around here, what can you say?
Who will say that
compared to what they achieved? Are you with me? Compared to what they achieved.
Yeah.
So we as a successor generation have to take the matter more seriously and leave the partisan politics behind and begin to look for real alternatives. And for me, that is one of the key things about this great transformation plan. Because in joining the groups to work with it, I realized that this was not just one group of people. These were groups of people, experts from across the political terrain. And their only objective was, what is the problem facing us? And how can we put together our thoughts to present a real, credible solutions that will be alternatives to what we have now? If you don't have that alternative to offer, then don't take part in the election and waste people's time. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that we are clear that if Ghanaians are looking for an alternative to runaway inflation, runaway interest rates, high debt to GP ratio, a constricted economy, more or less collapsed businesses, then this is the business that we should be looking at now, the Great Transformation Plan, because it addresses all those issues and it gives us an opportunity for a new start.
Okay, so interesting. Although for Dr. Michael Abu Sakara Foster or a member of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay. ARC. That's how you abbreviate it.
That's correct.
Okay. Your name is nice. Alliance for Revolutionary. You see, normally when you hear the word revolution, people have in mind that you are coming to do some, some things. Are you promising us that is not what you are coming to do?
Well, you see, the stages of reform that lead to revolution, are you with me, are threefold. First, you have to be aware there's a problem.
Okay.
You have to be willing to correct it. And having got the correct solution, you have to be able to convince the general public to embrace it. So that is a revolution.
So is there a problem?
Of course we have problems.
Okay. So what are some of the problems?
Firstly, as a nation, we have identified political problems, social problems, and economic problems. Okay. Right now, this economic problems that are troubling us, we all know. Standard of living, cost of living has gone very high, so high that it has lowered the standard of living of people across the board. People
across the world?
Yes, people across the board.
Across the board. But that's global.
No.
That's global because I can cite many examples and instances. Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about what is happening now in Ghana.
Okay.
People who are very wealthy have had their wealth reduced significantly. Okay. So their disposable income, they don't dispose of it so quickly. And even some of their money is locked up in the debt exchange. They cannot get it out. They're not getting interest on it. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Then you have the middle income group, where the cost of living has gone up more than fourfold compared to their income. So now they're having to reduce on things that they used to afford. Okay. Are you with me?
That is individuals.
Yes, individuals. Yeah. Everybody that is listening to me knows this in their house. You don't have to go to Harvard Business School to know this.
Of course.
Are you with me?
Of course.
And then, on top of that, the people at the bottom have been squeezed so much that the value of their money is now almost worthless because they cannot buy even the things that they were able to buy.
Okay.
So all these things together are telling you that we have a crisis. And as if that was not enough, the high level of indebtedness of the country, which we all now know is way above what it used to be. We have this argument. We know that the total debt has more than quadrupled. Are you with me? And we know that the debt to GDP ratio has gone very high. Never before have we got to over 100. And now it's coming back down. It's around 76, somewhere like that.
Okay.
Are you with me? Our interest rates have increased. When you look at the structure of the economy, they're only coming down because of injections of loans.
So it's cosmetic.
As soon as that
you,
is over,
you think the drastic change is cosmetic?
It's not coming from productivity.
Okay.
If you've squeezed all the businesses, they've cut, downgraded. It's coming from injection from outside. So as soon as that effect wears off, it will shoot up again. So it's not a permanent measure. So this basic crisis that we are in requires drastic measures. And that is why in the Great Transformation Plan, we talk about reform, reset, and restore the nation.
Reform, reset.
Reform, reset, and restore the nation. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Well, it's very pragmatic.
Reset,
yes.
And then?
Restore.
Restore.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you know, what we need is an alternative path to the one we are on.
Yeah, because alternatives are always good for us.
Yes. The path we are on now is a path of prosperity for a few at the expense of the many. And, you know, it is very easy in the capitalist world to say that, oh, private sector is the driver of the economy.
Engine of growth and all those things.
Everybody for himself, God for us all. But that always results in a very few people having all the wealth and the majority of the people having inequitable wealth, very low levels. It is not a magic, are you with me? It's not a magic solution because the result is always the same. It is much more difficult to push a development agenda where you're building the middle sector, the middle class up and expanding it. And life is getting better as you lift the people from the bottom into the middle class. You're not stopping the people at the top from going. They can go wherever their resources and ability take them. But that approach is much more difficult.
Okay.
And that requires a much more comprehensive and strategic management of the economy, where you have to look at the clusters that are going to drive growth, those that are going to be providing services, and balance them, because we can only give as much services as we can generate money. And our first priority would be to generate income. Are you in?
Yeah.
Because that is what we do in our households. You don't go spending, you know, your salary on things that will not bring you money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is what we have done in this book. And this is why we are confident that when Ghanaians hear these alternatives, that we're not just providing a list of promises in manifestos, are you with me? That we have got a comprehensive plan that is well structured, that looks at critical areas, that has priorities, and that lists the priorities in a cohesive way, and provides interventions that will drive the economy and also provide some services to people. When you see that compared to a list of promises, you will know that there's a difference. Today, I'll mention this because you talked about it.
Yeah.
I was asked by one of the TV stations about the comment that was made on the presentation of the Vision 2050, the NDPC, National Development Planning Commission.
Yeah.
They made a vision for 2050, which they presented. It was accepted, and a statement was made that, well, this is good. Are you with me? We accept it, but you know, people must still have their party manifestos. Nobody at any time said that people shouldn't have party manifestos. What we're saying is, let's have a long-term national development plan. That is the policy framework with key goals and targets that are appropriate for every stage of our development for a long period.
Okay.
Then within those segments, are you with me?
Yeah.
You can derive your party manifesto, but align it for that 4-year period you are talking about.
Wonderful.
Don't go plucking oranges when the tree is not yet ripe. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So align it there, and then we can compare who has aligned themselves best with this, and who will give us the most achievement of the targets. basically what we're saying. And what we're saying is that that alignment must be mandatory. Are you with me? In other words, for you to qualify to even participate in the election, we must first see that you have aligned your manifesto to that long-term national development plan, the segment for which we are now talking about, and that you show how those things are going to be achieved. And to a large measure, this is what the Great Transformation Plan is doing. Are you with me? It's not just making promises. It is telling you how it is going to be done.
Okay, so have you yourself, you have seen the plan, the NDP plan?
Yes, I have a copy.
Okay, so will you tell us that what is contained there, or this was designed before they presented the plan?
This was designed before they presented it.
Okay, so are you going to,
but let me say one thing.
Okay.
You see, for a developing nation, the things you have to do are not so different because you're building the foundation of the nation. Are you with me? The question is the order of priority and the scope. Are you with me? And where you put your emphasis. So what we are saying is that because those things are fairly basic, we have anticipated a lot of them and have put them in here. Are you with me?
Okay.
I don't think that if you looked at that document and looked at this document, there will be such a huge difference. The difference will come in the interventions to achieve things.
Okay.
Where we say, in order to do this, we must do this first. And that means that whereas that long-term plan may set goals and certain targets for certain stages of development, it is you to determine how that will be done. And within the resources that we have available.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the approach we are advocating. But the key point we are saying is that it should not be optional, where you can say, no, me, I don't want to do it. I'll have my own.
You have no option than to stick to it.
Yes.
Okay.
And people will say, but why? I said, when you go to sit WASI exam, you go with your own exam paper.
No.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
You can choose which questions you want to answer.
Yes.
And you will answer the same questions, number of questions as other people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we all get different marks.
Okay.
And the avoidance of this issue of a long-term national development plan is simply because people don't want to be held to account.
Okay.
That was the segment, the work you were supposed to have done, are you with me? And you haven't done it. Where's the balance? That is the real issue we are having. Because other than that, all the people that we are admiring every day, you say Malaysia, Singapore, all these places, they all have these long-term national development plans. And they follow them.
Yes.
So why are you different?
And it's helping them.
Why are you different? And what you have been doing, has it helped you? Are you with me?
Okay. Doc, to be fair, the climate change, trade fragmentation, surging financial stress, the China economic slowdown, rising geopolitical tensions and all that have contributed to the world economic crisis that we all talk about, and Ghana is part of it. Would you agree and accept that the problems you are going through as a country is also as a result of all these things I've mentioned?
You see, in this life, there's never black and white alone.
Okay.
Are you with me? Nobody is saying that Ghana did not suffer the effects of COVID.
Okay.
Neither are we saying that Ghana is not part of the global, economic framework. What we are saying is that our response to it, are you with me, has worsened our woes, not improved them.
Okay.
At the time that COVID came, even before COVID, and America was having this economic crisis, what were they doing? They were lowering interest rates, causing money to come in so that they could increase the fiscal space and get people working.
Okay. And what were we doing here?
You were doing the reverse.
Okay. Increasing interest rates.
You were increasing interest rates and tightening up. Are you with me? So basically killing the goose that lays the golden egg. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So what other result do you expect? Are you with me?
Yeah.
And then we have to also accept that, yes, it's good to borrow. Nobody says you shouldn't borrow money. It's good to borrow. But at the end of the day, when you borrow too much and you don't use it for the purpose for which you're supposed to use it for, and it is not invested in areas of growth which are generating money, or it has largely, a significant percentage of it has been mismanaged, the day of payment will come where we will all face the music. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these factors have contributed. Let's look at the stabilization fund, which people came and met. Where is it? Wouldn't that have been good for us for a rainy day when we were desperate? Are you with me?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this with respect to this government alone.
Yeah.
Even the two funds that Atamil set up from the oil, what happened to them? Before they even went out of power,
Yeah.
people started sucking from them into the main economy.
Exactly.
And if those things are kept for a rainy day, are you with me?
Yeah.
When we have problems, then we can bring them in. And that is why we are saying in this document that we will work to generate a sovereign fund, a sovereign wealth fund. And that sovereign wealth fund will primarily be generated from ensuring that we have a greater percentage of our natural resources. We will no longer be accepting 3%, 4%. No. We have to have at least 30%. Are you with me? So that will increase our wealth, and we can put that money aside so that when we go into stormy weather, we know where we are going to get our support from.
Okay.
Or when we have opportunities to invest in new areas, we can, even if we don't have the technology and the skills, we can go and hire somebody to build it. Are you with me?
Exactly.
And then when it's done, we will pay
the person and just,
But you cannot go and get your blocks, etc., get a mason to build a house, and then you become a tenant in the house.
No. Your background is agriculture.
Of course.
Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so because of time, I want us to focus today on the agriculture. That's 1.3, page 29.
Yes.
The new agricultural revolution. This government has instituted or initiated many policies just to deal with the agri issues. One of them is termed the planting for food and jobs. That was part one. And I think the new agri minister, Honorable Brian Agyapong, has also launched the part two. Are you impressed with the way the policy has gone so far?
Yeah. One of the problems we have had with our agricultural sector is not tackling agriculture comprehensively. We tackle it in piecemeal. And sometimes we reduce it to projects. Are you with me? A government may come and they will be concerned only with one project. Agriculture covers forestry, fisheries, crops, animals, and agro-industries. Are you with me? So one project alone cannot solve this whole area. On top of that, agriculture is the one sector that is interconnected with all the other sectors.
Exactly.
Roads, it is there.
Yes.
Markets, it is there. Transportation, it is there. Health, it is there. If you're not healthy, you can't work on the farm.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Education, if you're not well educated, you cannot evolve your agriculture.
Exactly.
So the interface of agriculture with other sectors has to be managed very carefully if the agriculture is to evolve. And I don't like using these big words because sometimes people don't understand them. But what we mean is that it is going to change from one thing to another. It's going to transform. And that's why we use the word transformational change.
Okay.
Because if you are just changing, but you are not changing from one level to another, then you are just, it's like a baby growing without becoming an adult. Are you with me?
So, where are you going to?
Yeah. So what we are saying in our agriculture is that we have to handle it in such a way that we evolve it from where it is now into another form. And that means that we must deal with it comprehensively, and we must target the key things that hold it back, both at the input level in terms of cost of finance, access to inputs, infrastructure, mechanization, but also access to markets and also our trade policy. Now, those affect our transaction costs, and they also, to a large measure, determine whether our farmers can be competitive or not.
Or not.
You go to any container here, just along this road of yours. Tomorrow, just try it. Go to all the containers. Just see all the varieties of rice that are there and pick out the ones made in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Hardly any. Why? One container after another. So if you're not even in the shop of a container, how can you compete? Are you with me? And the farmer who is growing here and is not in the shops, how is he competing? It means that he's getting farm gate prices, and those farm gate prices are not going to take you anywhere, and you cannot then reinvest in your farm to go to the next level. So that evolution will not come. You understand what I'm saying? On top of that, you look at in the market, the competition that you have. If your cost of capital starts off at around 30%, 28%, then your neighbor has cost at 6%, 8%. How are you going to compete with him? You have even lost the race before you have started. Are you with me? If we have fuel costs, the fuel that the Uber driver is driving in is the same fuel you're putting in that big tractor to be plowing soil at the same cost.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
How are you going to compete? And then by the transportation, before you bring the goods to the market here, most of the shops have already been filled with foreign goods. So the import substitution is not working. And it all comes down to enhancing our productivity and also ensuring that we improve our access to
How do you enhance your productivity?
Yeah. You see, the productivity has two different levels. You have on-farm productivity. That's to say, yield per unit area, that we can improve the yield for the same amount of land. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And that includes improved seed, all those things, fertilizer management, and all those things that we talk about. Are you with me? The other productivity comes from economy of scale, where as you scale up, it allows you to use other mechanized functions so that you are able to expand the farm and get a bigger income. And then you are able to make investments for additional technologies that will even be more productive. And even some of your labor, the use of your labor, will also be more cost effective. So those others are there. Then you have your access to markets. Imagine somebody, he produces 3 tons, just 3 tons of maize. You and I know, because we have come from villages to Accra here. But in our village, when you go to the farm in the morning, it's at least 5 kilometers away, 3 kilometers away, the nearest one. Are you with me? So now let's say that you have harvested and you have got 3 tons. It's in the bush. You have to walk with it. When you're going to the airport, don't they tell you that 30 kilos is the maximum? You know why? Because it will affect your body, your spine. So let's say that the woman cannot carry more than 30 kilos, and you have 3 tons of maize. Divide 30 by 3,000, 100 trips.
So, Doc, what would the Alliance, given the opportunity, do to deal with this particular issue?
We have to tackle those challenges on farm, are you with me? Improve feeder roads, track roads to farms, you know, and improve the feeder roads between the districts and the first markets, and put in equipment. For example, you could use these motor kings, lease them out to young men, north, east, and south of the village. Bring those things out for the villagers and charge a little money.
But, Doc, it's happening.
Oh,
it's happening elsewhere. Maybe not on a large scale.
Not in a measure. You see, you have to concentrate on it. Are you with me?
Deliberate.
To make sure that you get a higher bulk of the goods moved out. Because so much, up till now, we are still talking about 30% of losses in post-harvest. So if we're talking of productivity, that's where you have to start. Don't plant more. If you're losing 30% of what you have already harvested, why don't you get that one instead of planting more?
That makes
That's
a
the
lot
point
of sense.
I'm trying to make. Okay? So let's use those farm track roads and small equipments to bring that what we have harvested out of the farms. Already that's a 30% gain. And then get them to the first rural markets. The second thing is value addition. You know, we have been talking value addition, value addition, value addition. It's part of improving markets. if you have a product that is not going, but you add value to it, you will get a market for it. Are you with me?
Doc, what is value addition?
Value addition is just transforming the produce from its basic form to the next secondary stage. For example, I have rice paddy.
Okay.
Are you with me? If I mill it, I've added value to it.
Yeah.
Now I can eat it.
Yes.
But you've never seen anybody who has harvested rice and starts eating the paddy. Are you with me? And that is a problem, because a lot of people who harvest rice, unless somebody buys it from them, they can't sell it to anybody.
Why?
Because they don't have problem with maize. Why? Because they can eat it immediately.
Yes.
You with me? Yes. Everybody can eat it.
Yes.
But with rice, you have to mill it. And if you don't have a mill to do it, you have to pound it. When you pound it, you break it.
Yes.
Are you with me? So it's very important to have that second chain to add value. And it's important that that infrastructure is deep in the rural area.
And Doc, you think this you are saying is not happening?
It's not
Have you
happening
checked?
because, you see...
Have you checked?
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's not happening at all.
Okay.
How we are proposing for it to happen is that we have to have these agroecological parks.
Okay.
And these things are not happening because somebody is doing, the mill is over there, somebody is planting over there. We need to bring them together. And that is why we've asked that we do these agroecological parks where the processing, the production, are you with me, will all be in an enclave. And that is a deliberate infrastructure investment that will make it happen more in that area. Now, at the moment, if you have money, you will not take your mill over there. You want to stay near Accra and ask for the byproducts to do other things with it, which also defrays some of your costs. But if we have an integrated mill over there, we are doing rice, we're doing corn, we're doing soya bean, etc. Within that compound, even the byproducts alone, we combine it and make poultry feed. And that gives us more value, it gives us more productivity. So at the end of the day, by having these agroecological parks in key areas, we'll be able to take that problem away. And we will give investment, low-cost investment, low single-digit interest rate for those people to manage those things.
Doc, where would the money come from to give these monies to the people?
Well, I think the first thing is that we have said already that, number one, we are going to strengthen and stabilize the economy. What do we mean by this? Where we have deliberate use of cedis to chase dollars, we will change that so that the dollars will chase the cedis.
Where we have deliberate
use. For example, we have our cocoa.
Yeah.
We grow it here.
Good.
So why should we go and borrow money in dollars to come and buy it? Let's liberalize the cocoa market enough that people here can buy the cocoa, bring it to the trading floor, are you with me, and and the dollars will come there and take it. Let's not put it on the burden of cocoa board to go and find that money and bring it. Are you with me? So that is one measure that we can take immediately. Also, we can increase the income that we get by making our port a free port. Are you with me?
Oh.
Right now, you are sitting here. Somebody is driving in the night to Togo to go and take his car out of the port there and bring it here to Ghana to drive it. Why? Because it's cheaper. It's a free port. And our port is bigger, and we have got two of them. So why can't you make Ghana a free port, our Tema a free port, so that we can get more through-flow volume here, and we will get more income from it, because Burkina, Niger, etc., they will rather come here because we have better infrastructure services here. So that's another area. Even the process of getting the goods out of the port, where you have, all these small taxes on top of each other, etc., crash all of those, consolidate them, and make it simple, and also reduce the time that you spend in the port, so the damages will go down. Sometimes somebody will be waiting for tax exemption. The amount of demurrage you pay is even more than the tax exemption you're going to get.
But so there's been some form of improvement at the ports with the introduction of the paperless system.
To some extent, but you can make, you see, you can make it at a bigger scale. And that is the problem. One of the problems we are saying, are you with me, is that our attitude to tackling problems it's always these small incremental gains, which are overtaken by events, and you're back where you started. So we've got to go for big gains, are you with me? That change and transform the situation. So these are the measures that we are talking about, together with other measures we'll be taking in the economy to make sure that we drive money into growth areas to generate growth and also promote enterprise. Now, one of the key things you'll notice in this document is that we said enterprise economy. What do we mean by an enterprise
what do you mean
economy?
by that?
You know that we started with Stone Age. Then we went to Iron Age, are you with me? And Bronze Age. And then we came to the Industrial Revolution. Then we went to information technology.
Yeah.
Now, we're in the age of entrepreneurship.
Now.
So the people who are making money now, they don't pound things or make things, etc. They're people who are having entrepreneurial solutions to the problems that are faced by the billions of people in the world. So even if you're making only $1 from every person a day, you're making a lot of money.
Big money.
So those entrepreneurial solutions, that is the mindset that we want to give our younger people. That look, there's no more government job for you. As we are sitting here, we are trying to get our percentage of revenue that is spent on paying government salaries, who are only 2% of the population, and we're spending more than 76% of our revenue on them. We're trying to reduce that to 30. do you get my point?
Okay.
We have said we'll reduce that to 30.
You see, Doc, sorry, the question is how?
No.
We will do this.
Yeah, no.
We will do that.
I'm
but the how? Because I want to believe that if it were that simple, various governments would have, achieved that.
Oh,
so my emphasis is on the how.
First of all, some of these policy changes, are you with me, require you to make the policy change and then implement it. Then the money that we need to come out of it, we have estimated what we will get from the free port. We have estimated what we will get from not, using syndication for the cocoa. We've also estimated what we will get in reviewing.
Is it here?
Yes.
Okay.
In reviewing some of the loans that we have, the terms that we have given to people investing in the natural resource play to get 30% of the share for us. So that will be added income that will come in. Then each of the areas, in agriculture, we have the interventions of the agro parks we've talked about. In other areas, are you with me? We have specific interventions which are all packed together so that they support each other. We don't want to be doing things as stand-alone. You understand? So we have said here, look, if you look at this,
which page?
For example, if you're talking about business regulatory reform, are you with me? We established a comprehensive program to ease doing of business in Ghana, covering the following areas: securing permits, licenses, getting access to this, having one-stop centers, public constitutional portal, regulatory impact assessment, rolling regulatory review, targeted regulatory reliefs. Then you go into the tourism sector, improving tourism infrastructure, facilitation support for the promotion of tourism, funding and financing of tourism. Now, some of these issues mean also that in terms of the total economy, we have to take a step back and ask ourselves a very basic question. We have been on this IMF World Bank track for so long. Is that the only source of money in the world?
That's a good question.
Are there other sources of money? And are there other sources of money that can allow us the space to grow at the pace we want to grow here? So we will have to realign ourselves. You understand? And take those, policy decisions that ensure that we're correctly aligned in the global space to seek the kind of investment that will help us to grow this economy at the pace we want it to grow. But the important thing is that across the sector, both in tourism, in terms of also looking at the governance cluster, cutting the waste in terms of corruption. We have said that we will be very strong on the issue of ensuring that we recover most of the properties that have been sold to people, are you with me, without due process, and also which have been orchestrated to benefit a few at the expense of the many. We have also been very clear that where there are clear instances where deliberate financial loss has been caused, there will be punitive measures taken. We don't have a track record. Are you with me?
Yes.
And so we can take those decisions. At the end of the day, we are also looking at other positive things. What can we do in terms of local government?
Look, our time is almost up.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's one thing that I think I should mention.
Yes.
Because, you know, there are a lot of areas.
Yes.
In terms of governance, we need to look at the possibility of reducing the total numbers of ministers to less than 40. You know, this country has been run with only about 29 ministers before, and it worked very well. So we don't.
But the numbers were not like this. The population was not like this.
Yeah, but you know, if you go by population, then you would have more ministers. Some other countries have more population than you, but they don't have the number of ministers you have. So that is not a direct correlation. But the key thing that we are saying is that we will cut costs in the public sector, constrict governance. The cutting ministers is only one thing, but also the architecture of local administration to make sure that we deepen decentralization right to the grassroots level. It will not be hanging somewhere in the district level. We'll go all the way to the grassroots level so that we have investments there, and that is a way of engaging more of our young, National Youth Service in offices there that will be involved in projects that and private companies that will be set up there. And then in terms of consensus and cohesion at the national level, we want to have a second chamber that will bring all the stakeholders, key stakeholders in the country together. They will be there by representation. We're talking about the religious group, the students, the trade unions, workers, teachers, marketing people, chiefs as well. Thereby, in other words, your group should elect you to be there.
That's
for a tenor. You understand?
Thank
so
you.
That will then act as a second chamber.
Thank you. Doc, all too soon, time is fast spent. Looking at the membership, the names you mentioned, one will say that some of them have had the opportunity of serving in other governments.
Who, like who?
For instance, the Movement for Change, Honorable Agyapong, he was a trade minister. He was a trade minister during President Kufuor's time. And he was a trade minister until some few months, ago. One will say that they had the opportunity to also make serious impact, but that's not the issue. Your last words before
I think just quickly on that issue, and then my last word is simply that, look, the fact that a person has been able to establish themselves outside politics before they even got into politics, for us, is a good thing. Secondly, there is a limit to what you can do as a minister. You do not have an opportunity to set your table out, the architecture out, for optimum gain. So there's a limit. I think people should bear that in mind. A lot of the people have not been anywhere in government before. Now, somebody will say, well, that means that they have no experience, but they may have other experiences. In any case, if anything is to go by, we don't want experience in mismanagement. The second thing that we want to say is that, look, this alliance is really for the youth of Ghana. And we're urging the youth to really take a look at this alliance, join in the alliance, ask questions, and fight for yourselves. Because at the end of the day, the glaring issues that we have in terms of missed opportunities are there for everybody to see.
Good.
So now it is upon each one of you to say that, look, it is our time.
Okay.
When Kwame Nkrumah and co were fighting for independence, some of them were only 20 years old.
Exactly.
And they had little education.
Yes.
Now most of you are graduates.
Yes.
And you finish SHS.
Yes.
And some of you are 40 years old.
Okay.
So there's that opportunity now to join hands and make sure that we save this country at this time and restore it on a different path that works for all of us,
okay,
and not just for a few of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Abu Sakara Foster. I hope I mentioned your name
yes,
right.
That is
yes,
fine. That's fine.
We are privileged to have you here, and I'm sure looking at the document is quite huge.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we may have another opportunity to move into the other areas. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. God bless you.
Thank you.
Although for Dr. Abu Sakara senior obia enimuno na yene no atwetwe enkommo ewo the seat so abecheche Alliance for Revolutionary Change almost say almost pese ma Ghana for another alternative from MPP NDC. There should be another alternative intinyema almost pese omodi gu akwemu ma memene o ye don ni omu na and the doc abecheche mu kakra e do so de ye behwe se brefo from yebenya emrena yene no asan ato aso a edamasi bebi ma mendane me honji aboafo enkrato na memra sisi a Yo, other form some wako ababium but the seat show so on NET2 television. Now me come and my main come for a Franco Trading Enterprise and more. You bought Franco Trading Enterprise. I'm GD say when him say a phone papa if you open phone papa a Nokia, Samsung, a iPhone papa ibi a dia unsa ebe kana office TV. A open TV at a flat screen fefe ya baby. A dia obenyebi all the sizes obenyebi or Franco Trading Enterprise. A fridge. A fridge ya nyamama ye wo ye fie mu ya de obenyebi washing machine na afeso nia efe wo mukra ne omo CCTV camera omde abadwa so ma sebe ukwa o fixia say watch kra na bo obetumi ehu nyama ekoso wo fie nyama ekoso wo office be bia wo bia Franco fo no omo CCTV camera no betumi aboa ntino pin ben wo maso 9 GB na discounted products ekoso wo anase products are ya discount prices no ya dia ekoso wo hwi na odru Franco Trading Enterprise on sabeka enyama ya tete so bebre enoti ya besre ena afeso omo bokoko se menko social media nkofa omo any telephone number na say any contact say wo frɛ omo ni obeya ne say obeko obe from 0246 422 338 and I say 0555 939311 0555 939311 na obeko Google Play Store na wa download omo Franco Trading app no na unsa aka omo be bibiara owo Franco Trading Enterprise still phone papa fie na afeso Awos Unisex boutique yenyina yenim se ope leather bag, leather belt, leather shoe any bibia leather any interior aba edwaso new ones na uko Awos Unisex boutique dia onsa ebeka ebi original leather bags, original leather belt to say media ya me boy shoe papa and then no be shoe masha wa mbe say uko Awos Unisex boutique obenya ne sin Sakara po omo ya clearance sales up to 50% ewo empabo bia obeto bia pabo bia obesom ewo Awos Unisex boutique bia no omo ye clearance sales of up to 50%. Eti tumlika na koje wodie usabeka omo jowulu opposite the First Atlantic Bank jowulu opposite the First Atlantic Bank and airport terminal 3 departure C opposite Sandra Lounge and then East Legon Shashi boundary roads or and Tesano behind the police depot ukwa unsabeka Awos Unisex boutique no monyama pom de abadwa so no woso one wabusua monsa akabi unsabeka omo 0244 649 379 0244 649 379 Awos boutique comfort and style na uso bebia ewu ama odofo bebia yedui ma menfa masanto safre ye minua Franco menini di nkomo first na nsem bia beto dwana tew mepese oche na dwene ewo ho emayen yekoda ya see parliamentarians say ye mom kwan ema omumfa sarin ento omukaso na omumfa nanti me traffic achi yen no ya sorry ahema chi traffic achi yen no omode ye ma omu kwan emra no kwan so na omutumi eyusu nwen no ya sala na omabetwam sa na tie Frank
flag bearer.
Yes sir.
There be me say if a parliamentarian NET2 abadema say okoko shemra we agree, but you see sometimes wotie mrabia mpanyfo no person omosha you ask yourself say ade no person omosha sa mra de betimi abo na say entimi mboa na de edi kai wotie omsi Road Regulations Act L1 2180.
Yes.
Now let me take you back. From 2009 ebesine if you look at overspeeding road accident in Kun as 2,000 deaths 2,000 injuries 15,000. Now I want to ask a very simple question. And to a parliamentarian never say be also ban NET2 about the program now so time 8 o'clock won't mean 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock now.
Okay.
Is it necessary say did since I just say ya starting the see car so now I want to get it clear. Is it their private car or more come wasem and as an official car? We should get it clear. Because we will make us a fleet of cars and will be a member of parliament. We will buy 5 or 6 cars. Of course. Now we want to ask a very simple question. And what the NET say to this are in this man. Now if you look at pressing issues in Ghana, Any which amount for communist mana. We expect our parliamentarians to bring out laws and bills a bit more and yet my into my pedia fra. But as a leader, look at what they are thinking about. Say near TA, say ne area flag by so bano de sarine siso, ne yet the day back, and no yet. And you see, I don't know mobile, you know. So, yeah, a lot of problems, a beba. Amount for a beho, and you see, a bequa could do maybe no. Amount for bufu crabet me for a bino. Hey, Ebia Wagin Corso. What he came not to say, Sarah, because, hey, I buy so much of my dear. Hey, I will quit us what you say. Hey, I will quit away. One, you should address the needs and the welfare of the people. And they are Sanoman is away. Sanoman is what me doing, not just Sarin. Sarin, the day. And to your leader, now surrender the free fear and the bad one I if you look at what he said, Dampare, or IGP, the time he was GP2, no did traffic Mukwejuma.
Dampare? Yes,
GP2. That no name IGP. He was a GP2, no did traffic Mukwejuma. Okay. Even the former IGP, Muhammad Alassa, or did traffic so Ebejuma. What is wrong with a parliamentarian? So what did traffic is Obejuma.
Okay, what is wrong with the parliamentarian? Say did traffic is Obejuma. Chairperson and as a chairman for the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament, Honorable Dominic Ayinin. One insensual be a twitching komoka cry fast and say, Yentie, Bessiman Emra.
Why can't you just set off early, like all of us, so you don't need to have a siren? Why don't you just set off early, account for traffic, use your GPS, wake up earlier?
You cannot. I mean. Anticipate all the circumstances and.
But we do. We, the people who you represent, that's what we do. We set off earlier. We lose sleep so we can get to our place on time.
That is true, Kafui. There are times that I leave my house very early in order to get to where I want to get to, but I don't control the traffic buildup. So I may leave early, but still get to a point where the traffic buildup is such that I will be extremely late. Going to an official function or going to, conduct parliamentary business. So those are some of the exigencies that will be, will necessitate the use of the siren, in order to be able to beat the traffic.
All right. But why can't you just set off early, like all of us, so you don't need to have a siren? Why don't you just set off early, account for traffic, use your GPS, wake up earlier?
You cannot. Anticipate all the circumstances and.
But we do. We, the people who you represent, that's what we do. We set off earlier. We lose sleep so we can get to our place on time.
That is true, Kafui. There are times that I leave my house very early in order to get to where I want to get to, but I don't control the traffic buildup. So I may leave early, but still get to a point where the traffic buildup is such that I will be extremely late. Going to an official function or going to, conduct parliamentary business. So those are some of the exigencies that will be, will necessitate the use of the siren, in order
to. Honorable Dominic Ayine, MP for Bolgatanga East, ena motini nkano GBC NMI and Saka video we edawmasi bebre. Uria utie ni reason or the ono ye the chairman for the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament, NDC MP. Okay. Yes.
The flag bearer.
Yes, sir.
If you listen to the MP critically, one convince me about Kokra. He didn't convince me. Now and then, be a flag bearer and I say, "Oh, sorry, free Yako baby." Nobody can anticipate your warning. Yeah. Obi anyho. And I be a obey. We are one so person to do about 3 o'clock. Even my car say be a bibi kwam na to kwan mu. Yes. And so there is a traffic over there.
A kwan de be a wow fasono. Say ade na oba be faso you cannot predict what is there.
Yes. And it's all case who anticipate here. Every Ghanaian too cannot anticipate the future. Obi anim de ho kwan mu. And maybe sir, obi a medical doctor. Obi yare so kwan operation. So balance traffic kwa just say this one. I want to ask a very simple question. What does some run akwa say? Obi ye kwa obi surgery, obi the emergency, and it obi a doctor. Na se na nia bre so free ntem na so obi a traffic ho ha. Just say the sari si ni car so na e ma no kwan se won kwa na. You say that be a car as a leader. One of your major responsibility is to serve your people. Is to make sure say enkofa no mu ye adwuma no. You give them a certain kind of respect. But if you look at how issues are being run, what has my papa you can? I wanted him to convince me as a Ghanaian. and as a leader obi ono shemra ba me mete won timi convince me and if you look at reasons or moka so mo pesare na unhu ade bi obedi maka so e convince na wo giatum say this sare sika so maka na me se aka biem ade we say MPP for gituma then people are going to have issues with them no matter say NDC for starting here they will say the days of the new patriotic party no mugitumu people are beginning to get annoyed about this siren thing. And of course, people are registering their displeasure. This siren.
Ada midam kwa huna baako bese na minim nipa otimu onye politician. But nkofo ne gina say hey aban nkofo so de mu chire.
Thank you.
It wasn't a politician, but because nkofo nim say politicians na ye ninti.
Me kai say maybe even the government of Ghana even says even ministers and MPs question don't even use siren.
Yes.
But still they are going against the law. They are going against the directives by the President of the Republic of Ghana. Idea way whether the NDC started and the NPP never bet to us. Let me say one thing. Una pasia people will say you did it under the new patriotic party. Ebema onwe
una wa bresu ye.
Obia pentema ko ba bi o. Ene me bai me say me drew around 6 o'clock. I say me free Kumasi Ntemba be drew her. I don't know what I can anticipate on the road.
Exactly.
So you should come early.
Exactly.
Parliamentarians are almost so enjoying you.
Asemo awokan no Franco asemo awokan no. Say one say NDC for issue release be kicking against this.
Yes.
But Oko committee ni so information wo ho ne say NDC for no kra na say yemfa sa ade no hye bill num anase act num na mo kwan mo use so o ma twa mo ho the statement about say o mo de o mo mfa so just to support the point.
One major problem of the new patriotic party is about communication. And what game also one major problem about the new patriotic party is communication.
Any propaganda
the communication of the new patriotic party is weakening. Now you can even meet a party communicator or Kasama Abino. You can ask him questions related to a certain ministry. The person doesn't have any idea about it. And then you are trying to enlighten and educate people, say, NDC for starting here. But today you see the NDC has also come back and say, what is preventing the new patriotic party, especially more parliament or more government business, to even come out and say a press release that there be idea where you need more here. We want to start here. But they will sit down.
They are comfortable.
Thank you. Always the NDC dictate the pace for the new patriotic party to follow.
They are comfortable. Many of them are comfortable.
I'm telling you, as
they will not come to the
Thank you, but
because more parliament, one of colleagues, parliamentarians, control. Do you expect me to come and say something that you know better than?
And I make sure say, if you look at the communication of the new patriotic party, whether in government, executive, and a party, it is weakening. Now ask yourself a series of questions. How many communicators in the new patriotic party can convince you flag bearer and then you buy into the ideas of the new patriotic party? And Obian is MPP for the Debo. If you don't issue official communique, people might feel and things on Adeba. The NPP should be careful how they deal with this particular matter.
Okay. All right. Yanko yenim baako bi so pie na otwie mu na ende sebe ayare ho sem but esan ya sresem se obi nsentweni investigation kakra ya nche so journalist or pride himself or catch Ghana for say or no that papa no woni akola bi anya mpaso agrobia dia sa akola no wadi 14 years broni friend pedophilia. Masa, what is that same way?
Mate.
And Osha video na areho because nipa no very confident or very comfortable or very he has a lot of pride in him say sadie no waye na ono eka wansem yenkonkotie na yemra.
Mary Akorebi at the age of 14 years. Papa no so na papa no madre stand him no. Papa no was scared of my hinkropa. No, let me share my experience. What? Na me na our body na nobody to say me na from class 6 to be we kumaka. Hey, o kwame. Boninyo. Na me bani do sa level no. Ana me hunu say teacher ni bia hyase no ye na afri how are you? Na I'm fine. Afa me to wa me na my wife din koma na me shadwa. They say teacher ni we fa so ya on afri ni how are you? I'm fine na that. Me tell you I thought well kwamna na me say yes. Hello come me boy. Na me say me boy asare ba na say also only that no 14 15. I was come na for so nya no. or the classes and be in a panel be a crack right virgin.
The BG.
I've heard when you say a mere trialka. I'm saying, I'm Paul, the law of natural karma. Come as she miss to come. Oh, dear.
Or say, Brunibeka say, I am scandalized. Say, baby, I am one kakra was same way, eh, say, or ye pride. And I saw ye proud to say, or can't same way, TV so, and our radio so. Our 14-year-old lady. Franco, this is your colleague journalist.
The major responsibility of every journalist is trying to educate and enlighten people. Flag bearer, say some trade woman ayafu dodo. And you know our problem.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, ayafu. Because if you look at standards I am paying for starting on the journalism now, we are departing from it. Now let me tell you one thing. As they say, no one say, there be flag bearer in Kasa who are eloquent. Then they try to bring you a TV on radio.
Yes.
We don't look at the standards.
Say in some benaya who eloquence no.
Thank you.
Just Okasa to make Kasa. You bring the person on TV on radio. The major responsibility of a journalist is trying to educate and enlighten people. Mami Kasamchiro. In law, you say ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Yeah.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Secondly, you say crime doesn't have an expiring date. Crime, any expiring date. As some guy to radio so are walking. Sebi nyansa pe wumpa ne dia. Logical reason. Adia oye nyansa pe wumpa ne dia. And you see, look at Kwen Wafaso Wakasa. And there's one person. I even have a problem with the host. Kwen host no so nya daji so tie na ma no so tie ni nsemu no. It calls for worry.
Yeah.
You can label this to be defilement. Do I hear you?
Yes.
You can label it to be defilement. You say, na akwan wo class 6. Na no status on ya akwaneda. On ya akwaneda ya kokosi sa akwan ko kumaka. And you see the way he was talking, he was more relaxed. And so the see kanu, he felt proud as some na all Canadians or Kenyans asem. And you see that is the problem. Sometimes obi a radio presenter and or a journalist no opportunity to radio so your major responsibility is to try to educate people.
Okay.
Now they are working. I am one was say as we see just a man for the can once man Ghana police for it. I don't get it.
So couldn't the police and I say be a police or need some information?
How come?
Well.
How come?
So because to me monitor every media platform.
Flagbera, the air cost was Ghana ene. Mamen can assembly be a threat to national security. You hear the Ghana Police Service inviting me or calling me to their office. Tiasema man yikan. Was one year Canada, and you see, Obodibo or Modesta DB, they should call the lady for investigation. Was a Modesta calling Masama Mikan? The minister didn't papa open anymore. Was the Unicorn Pony Masama or Kansas asthma or Canadian credit. And I have a problem with the host. And the host no host to program on him be a guy near corner. And you see how the guy was happy, trying to explain matters. Where who tell you some walk here? Where now crab open with the who tell you some walk Yes, and you see, look at the way he's talking. He's happy. And he's trying, and that's what I say. When you're in a life experience, when you're in a life experience, as a radio presenter or as a journalist, radio, so your life experience should be somewhere better motivate you. Be problem because Mathieu flag, my man can be called. But you're on radio, you're on TV, trying to educate people about illegality. You are trying to educate people about defilement. May I deal with? I'm expecting the Ghana Police Service. They should not joke with it. Because the Kakono, a bedroom rebino, now they are not as obedient to radio, so now the person can be there should be some civilization. People should be coached. People should know how to talk. So that you'll be measured by your utterances.
Okay.
And now some of my yakin. So it's not cast of MP. This thing go against
exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just be measured by your utterances because tomorrow they will use it against you.
Exactly. Yo, Unauthorized Frank, Donald Franco. Eda, ene oboa mema ye di dwumadi we ebremo. Aha ena emre bema ye di dwumadi no asi eye mpanifo eboa me lawyer kan ko kase professor Adisa lawyer amu date ena eye Robert Bafofin kwesi Ninsin Justice Afol bra ima ene George Sakode focus eye Uncle Fee ene safo almost hwe yen wo US no hwa almost chia nyina musomfo hene amoako na me di dwumadi enwucha nyame ya adom a edwoada ye de nsem kese ene bebrem wo the seed so nti pe edwa na twen nyame ya adom edwoada makram